Thank you, Mr. H. Hello, classmates. My name is Alexia. The title of my speech is Welfare and What Should You Do to Deserve It? A trending hot topic in the last few years has been whether or not welfare recipients should be mandated by the state to be drug tested in order to receive benefits. The reason this has become a hot topic is because there are many pros and cons that are fairly divided down the middle. You have people that are for it because they believe that if someone is receiving benefits from the government, that they need to be clean, they need to be doing their part in order to get a job. And how are they doing so if they're getting money and they're essentially spending it on drugs? They don't believe that's what the taxpayers should be paying for. The cons that we have are people saying that it's none of their business what the government, it's none of the government's business what they are doing with the money that they receive. They should just be receiving it because they either cannot get a job or they fell into a hard place where they're not able to get employment because they may have medical issues, etc. And they're also saying that it is against their rights to be told what they're supposed to do with their lives. Mind you, drugs are still illegal, so I personally believe with the government that people should be tested in order to receive them. A lot of this comes from people that I knew growing up who completely abused the system. They tried to use every bit of assistance they could use without having to do anything. And it just became like a sick game to them to get food stamps and trade those for drugs or sell them to get money to buy more drugs. Now, like I said, this isn't every welfare recipient, but there is about a fair number of people that do this. Back in 1996, the federal welfare campaign happened, and that's when they first proposed that people should be tested for drugs before receiving welfare. This really did not become active until about 2011 when 7 states decided that they were going to put in bills to start doing this. Those states were Arizona, Kansas, Mississippi, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, and Utah. I'm going to touch on Missouri because I grew up there, and as I stated previously, I knew people that did this in order to support their lives. Now, Missouri has a system where if people fail the drug test, they cannot apply for welfare again for 3 years. And to me, that is a very fair way to weed out people that aren't really trying. Now, if people voluntarily go to a substance abuse therapy or program and they successfully complete it, they can apply again in 6 months, which is good because it at least shows a little bit of effort on their part to do better. Missouri first proposed trying this in 2013. The first year that they did it was 2014. And statistically, out of about 40,000 people that were tested, 40,000 people that applied for welfare, 446 of them were tested, and about 46 of them came back positive for drugs. So that statistic is a little bit high, and I'm curious to know what it would have been like if they had tested everybody. Like I said, I was going to touch on Missouri. The other 6 states, I have no idea exactly what their statistics look like. And that's something that I think everybody should look into because it is a very interesting statistic. Ronald Reagan had a quote, and it was, "We should measure welfare success on how many people leave it and not how many people are added," which I believe in, because if people are actually using welfare to actively improve their lives so that they can get a better job, then it's working. If they're just staying on welfare for the rest of their lives and they're not trying to improve themselves and they're just still doing drugs, then they're not really learning anything from it. They're not doing anything to benefit their lives. And I can honestly say I believe that it's a 50-50 scenario. I believe you have about half the people that are on welfare that are actually trying to improve their lives and get better jobs or get a job to begin with. And you have the other 50% that just want to live off of the government. They don't really want to do anything with their lives, and they're just trying to slug their way through life. This topic is going to be heated for a while, especially while we're waiting for the other 43 states to get on board and start doing the same things. And hopefully they get on board with it, and hopefully more people start seeing that there's more pros to this than there are cons. And it's a brilliant idea that should have been implemented back in 1996 when they first brought up the subject to begin with. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know, and I will try to get back to you with them. Have a good night, everybody.